All right, folks, let's get it started. Friday Night Live. Tuning in for a late one. It's 8 o'clock on the West Coast, 11 p.m. Eastern, but we're still going to run it up, have a lot to cover, current events, and we're looking at all the financial markets. And it's going to be a session here where I'm going to try to run through this as fast as possible because we have so much to get through. So much news happening, another massive week. And once again, if you're looking to get in touch with me, every single Saturday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 Eastern is when we have our Discord weekly call. So if you're looking to get in touch, if you want to join the family, it's all over at my website at zachrector.com, along with all of the other community resources that we have available. It is also the only place to get in touch with me as well. I am no longer responding on any of the social media platforms because the scammers and impersonators are running rampant. And although I try to block them, it's basically a full-time job just blocking these scammers and impersonators on all these social media platforms at this point. It's really unfortunate. So the only place to get in touch with me where you know it's verified is going to be at my website, zachrector.com. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. It's a Friday Night Live. Let's run it up. As always, it's just a pleasure, a blessing, and we're going to get right on into the Bitcoin chart to get started. So Bitcoin finishing off the day here at about 36,000, just above it. We're on a 4-hour chart here, taking a look at Bitcoin, a coin that is pumped here significantly, about 146% during this bear market. And some are arguing, some are making the case that this is the beginning of the next bull run. And, we're still looking for a significant pullback, but it looks like we've set the low for this bear market. But I remain very, very cautious right now. Up to 38,000, double tap, back down to 36,000. And this week earlier, we were down at 34,700. So Bitcoin, very volatile this week, as always. And all of the market really volatile this week, with Ethereum tapping up at 2,100, XRP back down to 60 cents. This thing hit 589 essentially this morning. Hopefully you took advantage of that opportunity. If you're like me, we just dollar cost into these assets with a fundamental position that we've been stacking. It's not so much at what price did I get these, it's how many of them do I got tucked away, do I have secure. It's utility with no counterparty risk. Let me repeat that, folks. What am I doing? Not financial advice. Utility without counterparty risk. You know the deal. Silver in my possession, food in my possession, good clean water in my possession. That's utility with no counterparty risk. Now, as always, when it comes to real estate, when it comes to equities, when it comes to the broader financial markets, we're looking at opportunities. Very patient right now as we know that we're going through a historical reset. It is absolutely confirmed without a doubt, and the data confirms it too. It's not just us YouTubers trying to make some excitement, give us something to talk about. This is being confirmed in the data as well. Now, hopefully you guys caught it. We dropped a session, 2 videos already this morning. We're live here tonight for a Friday Night Live, and I have another video that's dropping tomorrow morning, and that's going to be on XLM. The reason why I titled this session XRP DeFi Unlocked is because we're going to talk about some of the new utilities that are being proposed and that are coming down the way here for the XRP community. This is absolutely massive. XRP DeFi Unlocked. And I also wanted to warm up our audience once again. We have a special interview tomorrow with a guest that I think you guys are going to really appreciate, a DeFi researcher, and I'm really looking forward to this session. So stay tuned tomorrow. If you haven't already, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because tomorrow, another critical interview coming through at a time with legal clarity. XRP is ready to shine. The DeFi, the utility that is being unlocked and coming our way right now is absolutely massive. Absolutely love to see it. So you already know the deal on XRP. Will continue on as we get right on into the update. Now this week, Gavin gives us the summary here. Kind of insane the amount of stuff that has happened and come out in the last 2 hours. OpenAI CEO and founder Sam Altman was fired. Tesla short seller Jim Chanos is shutting down his hedge fund. Apple is stopping all advertising on Twitter immediately. Disney also stopping all advertising on Twitter immediately. And there was actually, I think, like another handful of big corporations that decided to pull their advertisements from X. Fidelity filed for an Ethereum ETF. That's right. Another Ethereum ETF was filed tonight. We're going to take a look at that here in just a bit. Citibank will start mass layoffs next week. So how's the program working out for the biggest banks in the world? Citibank, mass layoffs starting next week. And what nobody has forecasted, what nobody wants to talk about, because this one really makes us uncomfortable. You know, everybody gets uncomfortable talking about money, and everybody gets uncomfortable talking about, oh, wait, there might actually be a recession. Oh, wait, things might actually get tough. It's not going to be a soft landing, or they're currently already cheerleading a soft landing and the Fed has won the fight against inflation. But Main Street is like, what are you talking about? Because when they go to the grocery store, you know, they're getting absolutely squeezed out. When they go to fill up the tank, when they go to pay for energy, when they go to pay or renew their lease on their rental, right? And they check and they see all these fees that you're now getting hit with. And I actually expect an uptick in this down the road here. This is the reset underway. Folks are getting desperate. You can see it right now. And I'll tell you who's also getting desperate, the biggest central banks in the world. So for that pain that you're feeling here on Main Street, I'm right there with you. But here's the good news. We're right in there with Bank of America, 131 billion unrealized losses on their bonds. With the European Central Bank, check out this tweet right here. The European Central Bank is warning that the global economy is fragmenting into completing blocks. She is right. One group is aggressively buying gold and is a major commodity exporter. Connect the dots. And here's the thing. You got them buying gold. You got them producing commodities. And really, it's a unified front. It's a unanimous agreement that we're dropping the US dollar. You don't have to be in BRICS to sign the deal. And what are we talking about? Well, check out this one right here from Watcher Guru, confirming once again, BRICS. 155 countries signed Belt and Road Initiative with China for trade. So everybody asks, what's happening? Nothing's happening. The price isn't moving. That's what most people want to focus on. But what our community does here is we break down and understand what's happening on a current event level, on the broader financial markets, zoom in on crypto because everybody wants crypto gains, bro. So that's what we do to bring in the audience. But then we break it down on a fundamental level, all of the financial markets tied in with the current events. And then I show you what moves I'm doing. No financial advice, but I just keep it real. And I'm only making a few moves right now. It's very simple, my game plan. But without a doubt, this is being confirmed. Everybody thought, oh, another big nothing burger, the BRICS Summit. No. You don't get it. There's deals right now that are happening that are bigger than BRICS. They got 6 new countries. That's not what we need to focus on. What we need to focus on is this article right here, Watcher Guru, another 155 countries signed Belt and Road Initiative with China for trade. You guys are seeing this right now. The deals are getting done. Look at that party that they had there. BRICS member China is leading all developing countries to fall under the Belt and Road Initiative for global trade. This is what's hilarious. You know, and I say hilarious because I try to laugh about it a little bit. It's actually kind of sad. It's really sad, actually. We clean up the streets of San Francisco for President Xi to come on in. And meanwhile, at the same time, on the back end, while he's shaking and doing deals with Mr. Biden, what a pleasure, what a joy, doing such a great job representing the United States of America. Mr. Biden. On the back end, what's happening with China? They're getting 155 countries to sign a deal outside of the US dollar. This is for trade. This is for commodities. This is for resources that actually run the world. The world doesn't need fiat funny dollars anymore. The alternatives have presented themselves. When you can have a commodity-anchored international monetary system that settles on distributed ledger technology, you get a level playing field. And that's all they want. And actually, I would suggest maybe that country that starts with a C that I'm not going to say again is actually looking to replace the U.S. as that lead role. Now, we've already lost our share, and Janet No-Telling-Yellen has confirmed this. It's not just me making it up. Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, admitting that the United States dollar is losing its share of the reserve currency status. Now, when we focus on this new system getting built out, you are hearing them tell you what the focus is going to be. It's going to be on cross-border payments. It's going to be on a global financial system, confirmed here by Kristalina Georgieva, who is the managing director of the IMF. With 60% of countries exploring CBDCs, financial technology must be expedited. Must be expedited, you say. Wait. But in the United States of America, we have good guy Gary Gensler and the SEC going after companies like Ripple that are ready to expedite this whole process. I remember when Ripple told us that you could launch a CBDC on the XRP ledger in one day. I didn't forget that statement. That was one that I have kept, and I will never forget that. Now, I'm sure it takes a few extra days just to make sure everything's secure, but you get the point. A company in Ripple that's trying to be transparent, open, and trying to get real deals done to make a more inclusive financial system that they're talking about here, and to actually expedite the process, hold the hand of the incumbents. And we got a whole stage situation here with the SEC, completely corrupt, sold out, and now it's being exposed. That's the beautiful thing. And now we're winning in court because we have Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Larson, and the team at Ripple that had the you-know-what and the money to step up and slap the SEC back to their spot. Get back in your place. What an absolute pleasure and historical victory. Historical ruling and an incredible victory in a time when, unfortunately, the United States, American people are having to battle a bureaucracy beast, our own government, that has been weaponized and has attacked American people and is trying to choke out our U.S. capital markets. So unfortunate. Meanwhile, on the world stage, IMF Managing Director confirming. Let's listen in on what she has to say here.
This is not the time to turn back. The public sector should keep preparing to deploy CBDCs and related payment platforms in the future. These platforms should be designed from the start to facilitate cross-border payments, including with CBDCs. We can learn from you, entrepreneurs, business leaders, investors, and brave policy makers. We are so impressed by your bravery to be the sailors in these open waters.
The sailors in this open water. I'm sorry, but it reminds me of that Perseverance, the ship. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what that reminds me of. If you've been in the XRP community for any time, you remember that picture. And you remember the analogies that we've been talking about here. Ripple, right? Just building out a ship ready to ride out through this storm. And like she's saying right here, the brave sailors on this open sea. And just acknowledging their bravery. You think maybe she's referring to a company in Ripple that stood up against this out-of-line bureaucrat, unelected bureaucrat, slapped them out of their way while they're still getting deals done around the world that move cross-border payments and expedite, the incumbents in the old system over to the new.
Waves and winds are your inspiration. This is.
So she finishes off by saying, waves and winds are your inspiration. Final comments. And do you think it's any coincidence that the company's called Ripple? Do you think it's was something that they threw out when Miguel Valles says that Ripple was ready to be a lender of last resort during the coming liquidity crisis? By the way, we're also facing a debt and a currency crisis as well. Do we have a solution for that? Absolutely. Can we tokenize an internet of value on this ledger now that we're getting DeFi? Absolutely, and that's what we're about to get into. But as we were noting here, you look at these incumbents, they're struggling to stay on board. I retweeted this out today. Citigroup plans to announce major layoffs Monday in a massive restructuring that will eventually result in tens of thousands of positions being eliminated from the bank. Now, the thing about this one is, I don't want to make fun of anybody losing their job, but I did retweet this and I said Ripple's still hiring, right? Just data point, right? Citigroup is about to lay off tens of thousands, which I'm sure they're still more well-staffed than Ripple is, right? But you get the point, right? Ripple, a company here that's really just moving into this space. While the incumbents are in contraction, Ripple just acquired Medico, and we're going to be talking about Medico, how key that partnership and deal was for Ripple was, just an incredible, massive acquisition and a key part of the infrastructure that Ripple's building out right now. Now, today we get the news that the SEC has delayed the Bitcoin spot ETF applications. And so this one was due on the 21st, actually. So there was 2 that were due today, and there was another one that was due on the 21st. All have been denied, including the one for Franklin Templeton, the $1.5 trillion asset manager. Now, what's exciting, I wanted to make a point here before I go into Franklin Templeton. It's so awesome to see the headlines now coming across. See, we were crazy for talking about just trillions, let alone quadrillions. When we talk about derivatives, we go up into the hundreds of trillions and the quadrillions. But we were crazy for even just talking about trillions. And then folks started to realize how big these problems actually are, cross-border payments. But then you go and you look at these asset managers that are getting ready to come into crypto, and the headlines that have been shared by Forbes and others, right? $17 trillion earthquake coming to crypto. It's like they're getting more clickbait than the worst YouTubers, right? And I'm here for it, because hopefully maybe it'll wake up some folks to the fact that this is the future. This is what the new financial system is going to be built upon. And this deal here with Franklin Templeton is absolutely confirmed. Take a look at this one here. I'm going to show you, this was their deal with Stellar. Like I said, I got a Stellar update that's dropping tomorrow morning, by the way. This one right here. Franklin Templeton announces the Franklin On-Chain U.S. Government Money Fund surpassing $270 million in assets under management. And so this is April 24th of this year. Franklin Templeton, right, already working here with this money fund that is actually running and utilizes the Stellar blockchain network for transaction activity. The fund is the first U.S. registered fund to use a public blockchain to process transactions and record share ownership, and is available via the Benji Investments app. So right now, you can invest in this fund, right? And this fund is running on the Stellar blockchain. $1.5 trillion asset manager, Franklin Templeton, who has applied for a Bitcoin spot ETF, okay? But this is absolutely major, what you're seeing right now. And when you go pull up the SEC filing, you can go see the Stellar blockchain is in the SEC filing for this fund that we're taking a look at right here, and it's already surpassed $270 million in assets under management. They're just getting started. But it already, I mean, that's already massive compared to a lot of the hedge funds in cryptocurrency. It's pretty significant. And what they're doing is the start of something much, much bigger, because you understand that, just the bond market alone and basically the equities market alone is in the hundreds of trillions. So bonds and securities, hundreds of trillions. And we see Franklin Templeton, who did they choose? Stellar blockchain. And it's just beautiful when you actually can go read in the SEC filing, Stellar blockchain, and just confirm it, right? Something to actually grasp onto. And that's something that's always got me excited about XLM. And I noted in the video that's going to be dropping tomorrow, it's like we always kind of forget about Stellar XLM. They're still copying XRP. They're still trying to copy Ripple in many ways. And they're looking at implementing smart contracts with their Sorabon, I believe is what it's called. Sorabon, something like that is what their smart contract is called. I don't know why they come up with these names. These names are so weird in crypto. But anyways, they're coming up with their smart contracts platform and an upgrade to the XLM Stellar network. And it's looking to implement an AMM along with smart contracts. That's going to actually distinguish it from the XRPL, because the XRPL does not have smart contracts on main chain right now. So we're actually going to see where XLM is going to get a function that the XRPL does not have. For once, Stellar's actually going to beat XRPL to something. And they've actually beat the XRPL to a couple things, getting USDC minted on Stellar. And then also this fund right here is pretty significant with Franklin Templeton. So you absolutely love to see that, along with another additional ETF filings coming in today for Ethereum. And it's another big Wall Street player, this time Fidelity. Joins the spot Ethereum ETF race by filing a 19B4 with the CBOE. Now, there are 7. I didn't realize this. There was already 6. This is the 7th filer for spot Ethereum as far as I'm aware. Here are the first 6. And you can see these are many of the companies that have actually filed for Bitcoin ones as well, right? Van Eck, ARC21, Hashdex, Grayscale, we know about them, Invesco, iShares, absolutely. Absolutely. And we were just talking today about Grayscale. how their XLM trust is basically ready to get flipped into an ETF as well. That's why tomorrow's video is called When XLM ETF. Now, I wanted to share one more data point here on this one. And before anyone asks, yes, Hashdex's Ethereum filing was delayed by the SEC this week. So yes, Hashdex right here, their filing was delayed 11/17, along with the Bitcoin ETFs, right? We had three, two due today, one due on the 21st. All three have been delayed. This one here, Hashdex, NASDAQ, Ethereum ETF delayed. Now, we actually do get quite a few. We get what, 1, 2, 3, 4 in December deadlines for ETF filings for Ethereum. That's going to be interesting to see because all of the Bitcoin ones are now pushed out until January of next year. But we are going to get to take a look at 4 filings for Ethereum. My argument is that they're going to be denied or delayed. There's no way that they're going to get passed when you can't disclose whether or not the underlying asset is a security, right? That's going to be a problem. You know, you're asking the SEC to approve this, and so it really exposes the SEC hypocrisy when Gary Gensler gets up on stage or when he testifies in front of Congress and Gary can't say whether or not Ethereum is a security. That's a problem. How is that same SEC then going to turn around and improve a spot ETF, which is a security, for an underlying asset, which whoever's doing the ETF cannot disclose whether or not it's a security? They can share Bill Hinman's opinion, an SEC official that, you know, it's not supposed to be it's not supposed to be the law, right? Just his opinion. So once again, we're going to continue to watch this, but as expected, and nobody wanted to hear this. I want to take one more, and this doesn't get everybody excited. This isn't how I sell content by making this prediction. But I want to reiterate the point on why I cut through the BS. I'm not here to clickbait you. When I put it in the title, when I put it in the thumbnail, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to explain where I'm coming from on it. Now, I was saying that the Bitcoin ones were going to get delayed. I didn't even know that we had this many Ethereum ones, but congratulations. I think they'll all be delayed as well, all through December. And that wasn't a popular opinion to have, along with the fact that we were in a rally all the way up to 38,000. And the whole time I've been saying this one doesn't make me feel comfortable. Up to 38,000 doesn't really surprise me. But, right now we already pulled back to 34.5 and the space is hanging here. For me, I just want to keep it real with my audience. I want to give you guys that analysis and insight that isn't on hype narratives where I'm trying to sell views. I want to be able to sell views because you guys are getting the calls, you guys are getting the predictions here that actually come to fruition. We cut through the narratives on a daily basis, but did the Bitcoin bros want to hear it? No. Do the Ethereum guys want to hear it? No. Does the whole crypto space and mainstream crypto want to hear Steven Narioff's story? No. And that's my point that I've been making, is that their whole business model, whether they're small-time YouTuber who's shilling ERC20 tokens, or it's Charlie Gasparino that's covering up for his Wall Street buddies that got in on Ethereum. Do you understand it? At the low level, YouTube shill, pay me a few $100 to show your ERC20 token. Pay me thousands. If you're a big timer, you get whatever you get. Shills on the low level, YouTubers and what have you. Twitter, little anons on Twitter that are shills. Sure. At the top levels, right, you have Charlie Gasparino and gang, Fox Business, CNBC, who only brings on pro-Bitcoin and Ethereum maxi gang and this whole crypto deal. It's the other side of crypto that I always talk about. While we have the adults in the room, legitimate, within compliance, trying to work with everybody, just trying to level the playing field. And wait. By the way, a ledger that actually works, that scales, that is open source and permissionless, a better Bitcoin with additional utilities and functions that are on the way. Just have a little patience. When we bring utility to our ledger, it doesn't break the ledger. Just like Solana goes down every other week. Just like all these other layer 2s on Ethereum have been Ponzi scheme, rug pulls, scams, frauds, manipulation, and just simply don't work, aren't sustainable. I mean, the DeFi space as we know it went bust. How'd that program work out? And to reiterate the point that I was making here about calling out the BS, the BlackRock hype, I was calling out the BlackRock hype. You know, we've been calling this thing out because we see how we've been pumped up in the crypto space here. We've been pumped up in the XRP community. We've been here a time or two now. So we're not going to, you know, be emotionally moved here when we do fall back down. This is to be expected. Our community's already been buying the dip here today. And that's what I love to see, is that our community's remaining non-emotional, just pulling up, the limit orders getting filled on the exchange, and we go back to conducting business because we understand what's at stake here. The incumbents are hyping us up. That's a time to, you know, have a little bit of caution, right? And the SEC has really been backed into a corner right now where how can you approve a Bitcoin ETF? You don't even know who created the thing. You don't know where the Bitcoin's coming from. The mining operations that come into check too, and they have no official, opinion. We have no law of the land on whether Bitcoin or Ethereum are a security either. How do you put forward those ETFs? Whereas when you look at an XRP ETF, if someone actually filed them, whether it would be a BlackRock or somebody else, it's very clear. We understand what's going on. This whole ecosystem's one of the most transparent. And you know, we can verify that XRP as a matter of law is not a security. We know that. We actually lost in court trying to battle that it was a security. So yeah, we understand that one. We understand it very well. And so this is what I'm watching right now with this ETFs is nothing until the new year. Nothing until the new year. And although I think the crypto's, potentially started the next bull run, sure, we are going to get hit with some pullbacks along the way. So just be ready for that. You will still have some good buying opportunities coming up. But our time is running out. Our time is running out. And there's a massive, massive amount of utility that's coming to the XRPL right now. Now, this is the gentleman that I'm going to be having the pleasure of interviewing tomorrow. That's Lachlan Todd. And he's a DeFi researcher and marketer. He just did an interview with David Schwartz, and I'm looking forward in our conversation to be able to pick up where him and David Schwartz left off on the coming DeFi to the XRPL. But I wanted to run through this Twitter thread that he dropped. If you haven't already, I would encourage you guys to follow this gentleman. He's dropping incredible research on DeFi and the XRPL. He says the XRPL is home to the first ever DEX, dating all the way back to 2012 when DeFi was non-existent. Right. So, I mean, we had DeFi before DeFi was even a term. On the back end, it's powered by a collection of rippled functions, rippled equals XRPL software, that form the payments engine. This thread covers A, what is a CLOB DEX, B, the XRPL DEX, and C, the XRPL payments engine. This is a very simple and easy read to thread. That's why I really appreciate this guy's content. What is a DEX? A DEX allows for a non-custodial on-chain swapping of assets, all via code and no intermediaries. This is a completely decentralized way to move value, send a transaction, make a payment. There are two types. You have the central limit order book, the CLOB, similar to stock exchanges where buy or sell orders are matched. So if you're willing to buy XRP at, 65 cents, you place that order on the central limit order book. Now we also got that AMM coming on the way here soon, right? Algorithmic market makers. Token holders provide liquidity that facilitates trades for others. This is the AMM. An algorithmic market maker. Token holders provide liquidity that facilitates trades for others. So you're going to put up your XRP, or in this example right here, you can put up USDC or you can put up Bitcoin. And we have that AMM, that algorithmic market maker that's going to provide that liquidity and facilitate that trade. The XRPL DEX is CLOB based and is built into the network itself. There are no smart contracts on top. As the XRPL supports nearly any type of asset, many will have inadequate liquidity, which is where the matching engine comes in. The matching engine finds the best payment path possible in two ways. First through pathfinding, next through auto bridging. Let's take a look. Let's consider trading gold for Japanese yen. Pathfinding could entail converting the gold directly to yen, using US dollar to or Canadian, or countless other assets as intermediary tokens. Or we could do auto bridging instead, which uses the XRP as the intermediary currency. So you have two different ways, a couple different ways to get that deal done: pathfinding or auto bridging, right? Using USD or Canadian dollar or countless other assets as intermediary tokens. Now on to the payments engine. This is responsible for executing payments, transferring value between accounts. 2, offer crossings, matching buy and sell orders on the DEX. 3, cash checks, similar to paper checks, but on the XRPL. See, this is where I'm so excited to just keep on learning more about how to use the XRPL, how to get this thing to service you. Because even just with these simple functions, cashing checks, right, on the XRPL, this is a form of kind of a hook, a light version of a smart contract, right? Additional functions and capabilities that you could use on the XRPL that would really come in handy. Right? And it's just built into the layer 1. It's built into this payments engine, right? So you got executing payments, offer crossing, and cash checks. Both pathfinding and auto bridging are components of the PE, that's the payments engine, and ensure the best price is always found. By the way, it would also work with the proposed XRPL AMM if approved, not just the CLOB DEX. So with that AMM, it just gets more efficient. That's what happens. The payments engine works in tandem with the DEX, and they're necessary precursors to having more assets on the XRPL, and that's what we want. And now he drops the full article, his blog, down below. Last of all, know any talented devs? Let's grow the ecosystem. If anyone is considering building on the XRPL, let's chat. And that's what I love to see. That's what I absolutely love to see. And so I'm looking forward to the session tomorrow with Lachlan. We're going to be talking everything XRPL, DeFi, AMMs, and all of the other utilities and functions that are coming to the XRPL and that are already baked into that code. Such a simple payments platform here that's been built out on with the XRPL. And with the additional functions, we won't just be holding our tokens. We can actually put something to use. We can build on this. Right. And that's what I'm here for. And that's how we move the underlying asset and get further adoption into this space. Everybody wants to see the token go up, but nobody wants to build. Nobody wants to figure out how we can actually put real world assets on the ledger, actually start to put businesses on the ledger. And that's what it's going to take to actually move the needle, along with what Ripple and some of the bigger companies are doing. That's going to be significant too. But I believe that it's going to be up to us to figure out how to use these things right now. It's either going to be you use it yourself, or, and this is very important, you're going to have a bunch of AMMs that are created. You're going to have way more issued assets. Sorry, my apologies. You're going to have way more issued assets on the XRPL, and you're going to have a bunch of AMMs with those issued assets within them. But watch out, because there's going to be even more scams coming to the XRPL. The other thing is that if you go through some sort of centralized exchange, that might be easy. It might be simple. And I might even end up doing that if I go to access the AMM or DeFi on the XRPL. But if you can use these functions and abilities yourself, then you're not having to pay any fees, right? And you know, some of it I don't want to, be doing. I'm going to leave it up to somebody else. But what you get is you get simple wallets like the Zum wallet. The Zum wallet is just a simple interface to the XRP Ledger toolkit, to be able to use the XRPL. So you get these products and services which work fantastic. But I'm excited. I think that you're going to get exchanges that are going to be offering up, earn 5% on your XRP, stake it here. We're going to see potentially Uphold with Ripple tapping into the AMM. And so that's definitely going to be there, along with many other exchanges that will give you that ability to tap into the DeFi and the AMM that's coming to the XRPL. We see the NFTs, and we got another update that's coming on NFT escrow. I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But when we talk about how big these markets are going to get, folks think that we're talking about, you look at the traditional space and folks think, oh, well, Apple stock is only worth, what is it, a couple trillion? Right? We have 5 or 6 companies that have reached $1 trillion market cap. And they look at these blockchains and they think, oh, a blockchain couldn't go up higher than a market cap valuation of a stock. Well, that's not the case. What you should be looking at is these underlying markets and how big they actually are. And so to reiterate that point, Crypto Eddie shared this one here. 45 trillion blockchain-based tokenized assets is too high, according to Singham Bank. They point to predictions that tokenization for global illiquid assets could become a US dollar 16 to 68 trillion market by 2030. So it looks like somebody left a YouTube comment saying that 45 trillion blockchain-based tokenized assets is too high. But according to Singham Bank, they point to predictions that tokenized assets, are going to hit 16 to 68 trillion by 2030. So that's what I've been saying too, right? Is that you even look at the conservative predictions, it's about 16 to 100 trillion by 2030. And this is Singham Bank, right? They cite such a number is not unrealistic, given that the fixed income debt market alone is worth an estimated US dollar $127 trillion value. Global real estate is equivalent to 362 trillion US dollar, and gold is at a $12 trillion market cap. If everything is tokenized, 45 trillion is low. Hundreds of trillions is low, in my opinion. Now, by 2030, we're going to see tens of trillions. Maybe we reach 100 trillion. And eventually, I do think that hundreds of trillions is low. In fact, I can confirm that 100 trillion is low because Bitcoin already has settled $100 trillion of value on the ledger. When you consider that, we've already moved 100 trillion of value on the Bitcoin ledger, a ledger that sucks for payments, relatively speaking. It is not the best, but it was the first. And it is the first alternative that most folks hear about and use when they come into cryptocurrency. It's their first move. But when you consider that metric, that data point that we can run with it, Bitcoin alone has already settled 100 trillion. Well, you can see that, hundreds of trillions is nothing. We're going to be moving quadrillions. And the value that's parked in these tokenized global illiquid assets, which is real estate, which is gold, which is fixed income debt market, just that alone is 127 trillion in fixed income debt, 362 trillion in real estate, and 12 trillion in gold. So just between those, right there, you're at what, 500 trillion? You're not even into derivatives. You're not even into cross-border payments. Those are quadrillions alone too. We don't even know how big derivatives is because it's a shadow asset class. So this is why I like to stay conservative with my predictions, but I like to have a little bit of fun. And when we have a little bit of fun, well, you can see where we start to have some fun real quick. By 2030, I think for sure we'll have had a couple parties. A proper party with XRP at higher than 50, 60 cents. I think that is coming our way. And cheers to that. I'm waiting for that day too. God bless all of you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight with me. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. I think you guys will like this new spec for NFT escrows. This is the NFT escrow update that we just got. I was telling you about it from Mayuka Vardari. I think you guys will like this new spec for NFT escrows. That's what she says as she introduces another amendment. 2 XLS specs for the XRPO dropped in 1 week. That is what we call putting in work. And she is a senior software engineer at RippleX Dev, working on interoperability, coming from MIT. Absolutely love to see it. Now, we also see that this deal gets put together with Medico. and that's called institutional grade custody. That's what's going to be key to getting this deal accomplished. Custody is the enabler. Custody is the necessary brick, so that as a regulated institution, you can build on top of it and create a service that your clients will appreciate. This is the CEO of Medico, Adrian Treccani, his keynote session, and we're going to listen into just about 30 seconds of his headline speech here.
But custody is the enabler. With custody, can you then get into value-added services? With custody, can you then go into payments, tokenization, and other streams? And custody, therefore, is this necessary brick, this thing that you have to throw on the table, so that then, as a regulated institution, can you build on top of it and create a service that your clients will appreciate.
So this is what we have to remember, is that HSBC actually tasked Medico with handling the custody of their digital gold, right? So that headline hit last week. HSBC is going to be offering tokenized gold for their institutional clients. Absolutely. We knew this was coming. HSBC, one of the biggest players now to step into this game. And who do they task with the custody? Medico. And when you see Medico, you have to understand that that's Ripple, right? Ripple has completed the acquisition. That deal is done. Now, they did consider acquiring Fortress Trust as well. They ended up backing out of that deal, but they did finish and finalize the deal for Medico, a key pillar on this infrastructure that Ripple is building out, becoming the one-stop shop for liquidity. But then when we talk about tokenizing real-world assets, really bringing this internet to value to fruition, you need to be able to custody this, especially for institutional grade clients. And that is who Medico is already nailing down, partners like HSBC and others, right? And now you go down that list with Medico, they've already acquired quite a bit, with a company like Ripple helping them and pushing them and leading them and steering them and bringing them to a higher level of table to get some business deals done. You're going to see something incredible from this acquisition, I think, kind of blossom for Ripple and the XRPL too, right? It's all one. Ripple, the XRPL, as we see here, this developer working at Ripple, she just introduced 2 amendments within the past week. So we got Ripple putting in work. We got independent developers putting in work. This is unlocking DeFi in a truly decentralized platform right here with the XRPL that's going to be sustainable. Unlike all these other blockchains that have completely failed, all these other layer 2 solutions on Ethereum that have completely failed, right? The Time Wonderlands. And it wasn't popular at the time to call out the Time Wonderlands and all these other DeFi programs that we knew were going to go bust, but everybody saw the headline, 80,000% returns, 5,000% returns, even, 50 and 100% returns we knew weren't going to last. And sure enough, it's all fallen off. And the DeFi that's going to be coming to the XRPL, I believe, watch out, because it does open up. This is open source permissionless technology. There's always going to be some bad actors that are trying to scam you out. And in fact, the XRP community is one of the biggest, the community that is under attack the most, I would say. So just consider that with what, where's my phone lining up? My apologies. This is the final piece right here with Medico to building out that custody. Ripple moving ODL and RippleNet together into Ripple Payments. And whenever you want to utilize that XRPL, and then we're going to get that AMM here shortly. We're already halfway. We have 40% validation consensus. And as soon as we get to 80, we trigger that 2-week trigger time. So we're already halfway to confirming the AMM in. We have 2 fixes to the XRPL that have already reached 80% consensus. Excuse me. And we have additional amendments already on the way. And then when we update to Ripple 2.0, there's a new Ripple 2.0 that's coming. And there's going to be additional amendments that are ready to go on that version as well. So it's like we have 5 amendments to the Ripple D XRPL version that we're using right now. They're about to update to version 2 is what it's going to be called. And there's already like multiple amendments that are waiting and ready to go. Digital ID, cross-chain bridge 38, XLS 38D, along with these ones here from Mayuka. And this is absolutely massive. And I wanted to highlight because she specifically gives examples right here below. Somebody asked, this is a Crippen writer actually. Just read through it. Excellent proposal. However, in comparison to escrow tokens, what is the practical argument for placing NFTs into escrow? So what this amendment does, right? NF token escrows is it allows you to put an NFT into some sort of escrow. Do you know of any current practical use cases that might benefit from or are missing such a feature? Now, Mayuka responds, she says, one example would be collateral. I think the use cases are a bit clearer for real world assets, NFT uses, like with tokenizing houses or cars. This is what's so exciting. I think that we're so close to seeing real estate tokenized on the XRPL in a serious way. And I'm not talking about a sketchy platform that you're uncertain about. I believe that we're about to see some real players emerge and step on and start using the XRPL because you're already seeing it on Ethereum. Look at Proppy, which Proppy might even be on something else, on another version of Ethereum, another layer 2. I forget if Proppy's on ETH or if it's on Avalanche or what Proppy's on, but it's an example, right? And you're going to see others like that are going to be coming to the XRPL. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be issuing assets. They're going to be issuing NFTs. Some of these NFTs are going to be real world assets tokenized version, and you're going to be able to put them in escrows, which is going to be fantastic for trading real world asset values, like being able to escrow, right? Let's put, to trigger the deal to start, we're going to put $10,000 into escrow that's locked up, right? You guys know how real estate deals work, right? You got to put some money into that escrow account, show your good faith while we're waiting for the deal to close or whatever it may be. So this opens up that whole world, that whole realm of getting real world deals done, real world assets tokenized and settled up and their value moving on chain. And what that's going to do is it brings in a more inclusive financial system, because if you want to invest with your buddies in a classical car and you're going to split it 3 ways, it's going to be as easy as ever. It's going to be actually more easier. It's going to be easier to do it on the XRPL than it would be to do it outside of a blockchain environment, right? Because we're not talking about trying to come up with solutions for problems that don't exist. These are real problems that are made more efficient, that get deals done faster in a decentralized way. This is what people want, right? And I think that with the additional utilities that are coming to the XRPL on top of the legal clarity that we have, we're in the best spot. With failed programs getting exposed like Ethereum right now, we're in the best spot. Now, folks, like I said, tomorrow morning we have an XLM update that's going to be dropping. You're going to want to check out that one, along with another interview with Lachlan Todd, a DeFi researcher. I'm really looking forward to this one because we want to be talking about how do we actually get a little return out of our XRP. I think the utilities and the amendments are coming that are going to allow opportunities to present themselves. Then we have to learn how to do due diligence on these investment opportunities. As always, we have our Saturday morning call with the Discord. That's going to be happening tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 on the East Coast. You can sign up by heading on over to my website at zachrector.com. You sign up for Patreon to get access to Discord, and we would love to see you in the family. Now, I am going to run. We've already dropped a lot of content today, and I just appreciate everyone for stopping by on a late night live session here this Friday. Always a pleasure. On the way out, if you could tap it for me, I'd greatly appreciate that, and I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. Thank you so much.